tried to expose Diddy, but he threatened to kill me. I know all of Diddy's secrets. I even know where he buried the dead bodies, but I am not involved with Diddy.
Beanie Sigel was the
Yeah, he was fired.
And they will only let Beanie Sigel only sell so many records. This came from an executive for Beanie. They would you couldn't be bigger than Jay-Z on Jay-Z's label.
What's that? That's Mob King?
Niggas feeling marvelous.
You gotta get the shoes though. Y'all know what it is.
Yeah, you hear about them parties? Nah, that wasn't for me. No, sir.
The rapper Jay-Z has been accused in a civil lawsuit of raping a 13-year-old alongside Sean Diddy Combs at a party in the year 2000.
This is the news that we brought you earlier in the week in our special episode that US rapper Jay-Z, real name Sean Carter, has been mentioned in a US civil suit that alleges that he, alongside Sean Diddy Combs, drugged and a 13-year-old girl after the VMAs in 2000.
It was last March 2024 when the feds, in LA, in Miami, and New York, they enacted these raids on Diddy's home, and it's been nonstop coverage since then. And finally, we know he was obviously arrested in late 2024. And
how close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball. They wasn't playing baseball. They wasn't playing football. And they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z.
Okay, buckle up because this one's a full-blown meltdown in the making. Word on the street is that Diddy, yes, Mr. C-Rock himself, might be looking at a life sentence. And no, this isn't some internet gossip bubble. These whispers are getting louder, meaner, and a lot more real. Insiders say Diddy's not just scared, he's desperate. So desperate, in fact, that he's allegedly trying to strike some sneaky deal with the feds. But hold up, it's not your usual cut me a break and I'll stay quiet deal. Oh no, baby, Diddy's apparently ready to flip the whole game upside down. And he's not just naming background extras in this industry circus, he's gunning for the top dogs. One name that's sending shockwaves through Hollywood, Jay-Z. Yes, that Jay-Z, the billionaire mogul Beyonce's husband, the icon of hustle culture, the man who practically reinvented. Turns out he might have been riding shotgun with Diddy through some very dirty detours. And just when it couldn't get wilder, Beanie Sigel, remember him? He's fanning the flames even more. Beanie is out here publicly telling Jay-Z, get out now, run. Why? Because he's convinced Diddy's sitting on some scandalous secrets from the 1990s. Something dark, something nasty, something that could absolutely destroy public perceptions of Jay-Z, especially if the stories are true. What kind of skeletons are in that velvet-lined closet? Nobody knows exactly. But the streets are screaming that it's ugly. And whatever it is, it's made one thing clear. Diddy and Jay's bromance, it might have been more toxic, more manipulative, and more layered than any of us imagined. Underneath the award show hugs and champagne toast, it looks like there was betrayal simmering all along. And now that Diddy's kingdom is crumbling, the pressure is real. When the feds start knocking and the walls start closing in, even the cockiest crumble. And Diddy, he's been flexing for decades, but now the man's back is against the wall. The whispers say he's ready to sing like a bird. And not just any bird, a canary ready to torch the whole forest. He's allegedly about to start naming names, and Jay-Z, he's at the top of that list. But here's the kicker. This didn't just explode out of nowhere. Oh no, this tea has been steeping for a while. Let's rewind to last year. Christian Combs, Diddy's own son, came out swinging with that track, Pick a Side. That wasn't just a diss song. That was a loaded warning. It was basically saying, if you don't stand with my dad, you're getting exposed. And guess who didn't say a single word during all that firestorm? Jay-Z, not—
The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, alleges that rapper Jay-Z, along with Diddy, indecently assaulted her at a New York house party in the year 2000 following the MTV Video Music Awards.
Holmes attended the award show with his then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez.
Mr. Carter has nothing to do with Mr. Combs' case or Mr. Combs. They knew each other professionally for a number of years, just like in all professions. People know each other. At the music awards, they support each other. You go to the NBA All-Star game, they support each other. That's just how professions work. There is no closer association between any of them. That's also a matter of fiction. That's all that there is. He doesn't know anything about the charges or allegations against him. He has nothing to do with that case. And there's nothing more to say.
For me to even, allow myself to get tricked into being in a space to where I feel like, I'm at the mercy of some who don't understand me as an artist anyway, because this was in.
If you just getting this message, way too late. For real, I'm gonna drop so much on y'all. You're gonna love it.
Not only did Jay stay quiet, he practically ghosted Diddy. He didn't defend him, didn't post a single supportive word. Instead, he sent out his lawyer, Alex Spiro, to make an official statement that he and Diddy were never that close. Oh, honey, that sent Diddy spiraling. Sources say he completely lost it, snapped, broke ties, and now he doesn't care who he burns to save himself. If Jay wants to distance himself, fine, but Diddy's reportedly ready to take everyone down with him. And that's exactly why Beanie Sigel's stepping in like a storm warning. Beanie's not just sounding off randomly, he knows Jay-Z's playbook inside and out. Back in the Rockefeller Records days, Beanie was Jay's right-hand soldier. He put in the work. He dropped the bars. He took the risks. He even went to jail holding it all down. But when the pressure came, Jay dipped. Left him in the cold. No calls, no lawyers, no loyalty. So now, Beanie's telling Jay, run! Because when things get messy, Jay has a pattern. And this time, the stakes are 1,000 times higher.
Right now, I'm facing weapons violations, attempted. They trying to get a boy 20 to 40 years. They came to me with a deal. Their deal was 18 to 36 years. Of course, I turned it down. Thought this was America, people. Guilty until proven innocent, huh?
Fast forward to right now, Diddy's staring down death by federal indictment, swimming in legal hell, and guess what? Jay-Z's vanished again. Not a word, not a tweet, not even a shallow PR statement. Jay's silence is louder than any diss track right now. And if Diddy is serious about spilling the truth, if he's ready to hand over the receipts, then Jay might be cornered in a way he never imagined. Let's not forget, Diddy and Jay have history. They were tight since the 90s. Diddy knows everything. All the smoke and mirrors, all the behind-the-scenes mess that went down with Rockefeller and Roc Nation. From FBI probes to last-minute deals to secret handshakes in dimly lit rooms. If Diddy starts chirping, he could out exactly how Jay stayed squeaky clean while Beanie took the fall. And that could ruin Jay's billion-dollar image for good. Worse, it would validate everything Beanie's been hinting at for years.
You got me. So at that time, when I'm going to court, and we about to be on tour. We on tour, so a whole nother tour. Yeah, we on a whole nother tour. So, I'm going for my bail hearing in the feds, and the judge asked Jay. Everybody saying all these good things and all that. The character witnesses, Dame, and everybody saying, even Jay said a whole lot of good things about me, and the judge was going to let me go, monitor. And she said, would you be willing, and that's the part that people don't have, would you be willing to be responsible for his whereabouts, not be responsible for my actions, just his whereabouts? Would you be willing to do that? Provide us with all the information, saying that he's going to be here, there. And after all that good, he said no. But it was like the way he said it. And he put his head down, he was like, no, I've never been crushed like that ever in my life. Cause I'm like, damn, this is my man, and I looked at it like, all right, no. What if I had to get the out of there? I'm in jail, I'm still tall, but what if I really needed to go? This was going to my mind. Like, get out of jail, you say? Bro, I had attempted in the state and the federal government and all this shit. 40 years, it's over. This is what I'm facing, 40 years. What if in my mind, I'm thinking like, damn, what if I really need the room? Be on a run and go. Like, I'm from this my man and I love him, at least get that. No, I'm getting my man, I'm getting him out by any means necessary. So for me to look him in his eyes and I'm sitting, I'm shackled around the wrist, ankles and everything, and the man was like, oh. Like that fucked me up. It took everything in me not to like let them go. Like that took away a lot that I thought that we had. Like that's big bro.
See, Beanie wasn't just some rapper on Jay's label. He was the muscle, the fire, the one who brought the edge to the brand. He had his own fashion line, State Property. He was starring in movies. He had the streets on lock. He wasn't a background player, he was the movement. But everything started to fall apart in 2004. Behind the cameras, Jay-Z and Dame Dash were in a brutal power war. Rockefeller was crumbling piece by piece. And Beanie, he was stuck right in the middle, loyal but completely vulnerable. So if Diddy's pulling the curtain back, it won't just be about his own crimes, it's about who was sacrificed to build those billion-dollar brands. Because let's be real, the Rockefeller mess, it crushed Beanie. Even though he stayed loyal through it all, when Jay signed with Def Jam as a solo artist, Beanie was cut off. Old. One day he was family, the next, a problem to be dealt with.
At 5 in the morning, caught a flat.
We caught a flat in Dame's van on the turnpike.
We gotta wait for the spare to come.
We're running a little late. And I gotta get suited up, booted up. And you know, he is our brother, so we'll be there to support him. Because at The Rock, we are family.
It's a very disturbing incident of physical violence. But what it is it actually matches up, almost word for word, with the complaint that was filed by Cassandra Ventura. I want to bring in right now Tracy Walder, former CIA and FBI agent, frequent contributor here on Sidebar, and also national security contributor here on News Nation. Tracy, your immediate reaction to seeing this, because it is absolutely gut-wrenching and incredibly disturbing to see, in my opinion. What do you think?
I could not agree with you more. It was shocking, quite frankly. It's not that I ever dismissed any of Miss Ventura's claims. I always have believed her and her claims. I suspect this video was probably used in terms of her bringing up that initial case. I'm also shocked, though, that there's not additional criminal charges as well. This is extremely severe, goes on for such a period of time, and she was clearly very much injured. It is just appalling to watch.
And now we hit the part that really hurts. The betrayal that wasn't just business, it was personal. While Jay-Z was climbing his way to corporate royalty, Beanie was out here drowning in federal cases. And what did Jay do? Absolutely nothing. No calls, no lawyer, not even a hang in there bro. This wasn't some stranger, this was a man who bled for Rockefeller. Beanie wasn't just dropping fire verses, he was in the trenches, writing for the brand, showing up for court, repping the merch, and putting it all on the line. But Jay, he played it squeaky clean. Boardroom deals, glossy magazine covers, and not a single ounce of support for his day one soldier. It wasn't just silence, it was abandonment. Beanie felt it deep. In interviews, he poured it all out. The pain, the confusion, the disappointment. Imagine fighting tooth and nail for someone only to watch them ghost you like you were nothing. Meanwhile, Dame Dash, yeah, the one people love to call loud, he was showing up at court, supporting Beanie through it all. While Jay smiled in photos with CEOs, Dame was standing by Beanie when the walls were falling apart. So when Beanie says Jay should watch his back now that Diddy is naming names, that ain't a diss. That's decades of pain, betrayal, and watching snakes shed their skin and finally seeing the truth slither out into the light. Because Beanie was fighting for survival and Jay was dropping the Black album, pretending to retire only to come back like nothing happened, like his empire hadn't just imploded. By 2005, the Rockefeller empire was ashes. Dame was gone, Biggs had moved on, Jay stepped into his Def Jam throne. And Beanie, he was left behind in the wreckage. That same year, Beanie dropped The Bean, coming his third album, and let's be honest, it was a masterpiece. The lyrics, raw. The pain, palpable. The bars, unmatched. But where was the push? The marketing? The support? Nowhere. because Jay didn't back it. The album dropped while Beanie was juggling court dates and legal pressure. And even with all that, he delivered. But Jay, he was already too far removed. Beanie wasn't useful anymore. Just another name swept under the rug.
Jay really call up them people. Just need to know to add them to the infested extermination list.
Listen, before I even got there to the building, you gotta understand this. It's all documented. This year's Powerhouse, Jay came last year. In the Philadelphia Daily News, the day after the Powerhouse, it had an article. And I didn't even go to the Powerhouse last year. It had an article in it. Inside sources say Jay-Z beefs up security and threat that retaliation from Beanie Sigel for dropping him from the label.
This was in the newspaper.
It's in the paper. It's public record. Go $20. You can search it and find it. It's public record. That was last year. So when I'm reading this, like, damn, what the? You know what I mean? Inside sources say.
Right.
Where that come from? I ain't never see the Powerhouse where they got boot cops walking around with K9s and all that shit. Go on the internet, Google it. Bernard Hopkins was there. I didn't even know Bernard was there.
Right.
Go to allhiphop.com. He confirms it.
So there you are, just like the song says.
Yeah, because what happened was, I stood right in the, and because they made sweeps. When I came in the building, and people was going in the back and all that, where the dressing rooms was at, we was standing in the back, me and my peoples or whatever. Bleak come out with 5 bodyguards. What's up, C? No, what's going on? Damn, what's up? What you doing? Who back there, Jay? Come on, let's go back there. And you keep on moving the conversation. You don't want to go back there. Your bodyguard's there, and I don't got no, you know what I mean, the pass. He was like, man, you need to come holler at the big hunk. Man, dude, don't with me. I ain't going back there. And that's what I told him. Big homie, don't with me.
But it wasn't over yet. Years later, Beanie finally aired out the truth. In interviews, he said it plain. Jay was keeping him shelved on purpose, blocking deals, killing momentum, or stopping him from making money outside Rockefeller. Can you imagine? Instead of helping Beanie grow, Jay allegedly wanted him to disappear. Then came 2009. Beanie dropped a diss track aimed straight at Jay's heart. What You Talk About wasn't a veiled jab, it was a missile. And in that track, Beanie didn't hold back. He called Jay fake, selfish, a user. He said Jay used his name, his street clout, his loyalty, and then threw him away like garbage. This wasn't just rap beef. This was years of betrayal pouring out in one song, and guess what Jay did? He brushed it off. Told the media it was nothing. Acted like Beanie was just being petty. Like Beanie was dodging responsibility for his own mistakes. Oh, but hold on, because here comes the twist.
Beanie Sigel is complaining a lot these days.
Well, he has a lot to complain about. I know. Not me.
Well, actually, this morning I just got a brand new interview. It's half an hour long, and he's talking basically about you, about the company, about basically how you didn't push him as much as, let's say, 50 Cent pushed some of his boys. How do you feel about that?
Well, Beanie Sigel at the time, and you can look it up if you like, but just to be honest, was driving 2 Bentleys. I don't know how. It's impossible to drive 2 cars at one time. With his mama in the sticks and selling 800,000 records, I don't know what more can you do for somebody, at that point. What people choose to do when they attain that type of success, at some point you have to look in the mirror and look at yourself. Beanie Sigel had a record deal, a record label, and a clothing line. I mean, it never went platinum, ever. I don't know, in the history of rap, has anyone done so much with so little? So I don't even know what more can you do for a person at that point. A record label, a record deal, that's normal. A record label and a clothing line. So if that's not pushing the person, I mean,
I want you to open that up because I want you to be able to make the face that you really want to make. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, open it now. Go ahead, open it now. You ain't gotta wait. Ain't nobody gonna take nothing from you. Oh no, he didn't. No, he did.
Thank you.
No,
you ain't know she got to count that thing.
Go ahead. Count up. Let me hold your envelope.
You gotta always pay your taxes.
I know he didn't do that. I'm gonna hand him them little 520s. He's gonna be like, nah, big dog. Uncle Diddy, he gonna hey.
You a legend already.
Yeah, you know.
$1,000.
I just counted.
Years passed. Beanie had time to reflect, and guess what? He owned it. He admitted he made bad decisions, that he got wrapped up in the wrong mess. But when he looked back, his biggest regret? Trusting Jay-Z more than Dame Dash. Let that sink in, because Dame, say what you want, but Dame never wavered. He showed up. He cared. Jay played chess while pretending it was checkers. In a sit-down interview, Dame didn't sugarcoat anything. He called Jay out point blank, accused him of lying to Beanie, using him, throwing him to the wolves when he was no longer useful. Dame said it clearly. Beanie was supposed to be the next king of Rockefeller. He had the streets, the music, the respect, but he backed the wrong man. And that loyalty cost him everything. And it gets darker. According to Dame, Jay wasn't just distancing himself. He was actively making sure Beanie didn't come back. Silent sabotage, calculated moves, quiet meetings behind closed doors.
Was getting ready. We thought he was going to go to jail for a couple years. He was on trial. So I was trying to make 4 albums for him, or 5. I was more bothered when Beans chose to go with Jay. That one hurt. Because I'd done a lot and prepared. I chose State Property over Rockware. And I wanted to just roll out with State Property. But it almost like he tricked Beans to shelf him, and his life up to me doing that. But I had him, you know what I mean? Like, that was my new Jay.
I'm with Puff, and he's in exotic bookstores, and he's doing shopping, right? He's shopping, getting his stuff and everything like that. So, you know, this is the first time I was ever in an exotic bookstore with Puff. So, you know, I'm giving him his space. He's taking things off the shelves and stuff like that, because they gave him a brown paper bag. When they gave him a brown paper bag, he was just putting stuff in there. So I said, damn, you know, he got to go put it on the counter and, you know, show everybody what he's getting. So as he's going, I'm just looking at the places where he's picking stuff from. So there's one part he picked up some things from up here on my left side. And then he picked like quite a few of them down. I'm like, okay. He put them in the bag. So when I went by there and I looked up there and it said plugs. And I was like, hey, yo. I was messing with him. Because people don't understand, you know, we was like friends. He was a part of the same gang. So I'm still gonna tease him. I'm still gonna mess with him and everything like that. I could do that. It wasn't just no security thing. So I said, yo, what are you getting this for? And it said plugs, and he was like, yo, can I do my shopping by myself? I said, yeah, you can do it by yourself, brother. And he started walking and everything like that. When he got I just waited at the counter. When he got to the counter, he didn't even have to show the guy nothing. He just gave the guy a wad of money. I mean, like, he gave the guy a stack, something like this. And Puff wasn't the dude that carried no 20s and no 50s and nothing like that. And I mean, like, he just said, boom. And we walked out the store. So we had to leave Atlanta and go to North Carolina for a show. You understand? And it was him, this rapper, Sarah, and this other girl. We all got on a G5 jet, and we flew to G4 jet, and we flew to North Carolina. So later on that, I think that afternoon, same day, this rapper and him, they all in the room together. You know, Sarah, the girl, Puff, and this dude, this rapper. So I'm hearing at the door and stuff like that, like, yeah, so then next thing you know, somebody rang the doorbell. We had the presidential suite where we was at. So I opened the door and The dude said, yo, I'm here for my cousin.
And when Beanie finally came forward again, what did he say? He agreed with Dame. He admitted he took Jay's word for it, trusted him blindly, assumed he had his back. But now, he sees it for what it was. Jay wasn't just building a brand, he was building his brand, and if you didn't fit in that perfect picture, you were cut out. Beanie even accused Jay of deliberately undermining his comeback, releasing his own albums the same week as Beanie's, eating up the marketing space, controlling how many records Beanie could push. It wasn't just business, it was personal. This was sabotage dressed up as strategy. And now, looking back, Beanie's connecting all the dots. He's seeing the patterns, the lies, the manipulation. And as Beanie takes accountability for his own missteps, he's also finally shedding light on the moves Jay made that were never coincidences. So now, with Diddy reportedly ready to flip, everything Beanie said, every word, might just get proven true.
Dame actually came and got me when I got out of prison. We was on a tour bus and they was interviewing me. And they asked me then and there on a bus. Now I'm just getting out of prison. Like he at the jail picked me up. And they posed that question that I was, or made the statement that I was going to be with Dame Dash Music Group. And I said then that I didn't want to make that choice between Jay or Dame. I just wanted to stay neutral. I believe if we had those conversations, I believe I would have rolled with Dame. I'd have rocked with Dame. Yeah, if Dame set me down and he had a plan, regardless what the plan was, and mapped it out like this was going to do, the smartest decision at that time for me would have rolled with Dame. Because Dame was more accessible than Jay was. Dame was in the office every day. You could talk to Dame. You know what I mean? Dame used to come and chill on the block in South Philly. You know what I mean? Dame pull up handbags at Mom Duke's spot. So, yeah, I think if we would have sat and he would have showed me and explained to me, our business plan and what we was going to do, that would have been an easy decision. But you know what I mean? Like, it's ultimately in your own decisions. I had a lot of issues. Like I said, legal issues at the time. And, my mind wasn't where I'm at now today. Like, I used to have questions like why every time my album dropped, Jay would drop right on top. He wouldn't let me breathe, or right before me. Like, I was always close. And I never understood that every single album that I dropped, Jay dropped right on top. And it was like, damn, like to have in-house competition at that magnitude was crazy. Jay already the boss, but I always thought that, like, let me breathe.
I mean, the truth is always good. The truth is always good for the soul. What's done in the dark will come. And, I'm not the partying type. You know what I mean? I ain't never been to it.
Are learning that Jay-Z is accused of a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy lawsuit, and the new allegations are just coming out this evening. Jay-Z is being accused of a minor along with Diddy at a MTV VMAs after party back in 2000, according to documents obtained by Fox News Digital tonight. The lawsuit, which was initially filed back in October, was refiled tonight in New York by an anonymous accuser claiming Jay-Z, whose full name is Sean Carter, while Combs and Celebrity B watched. So that other celebrity was not named.
after the news broke, Jay-Z's lawyer filed a motion on Tuesday. They've asked to deny the plaintiff's request to proceed anonymously. They've also asked for the case to be dealt with as quickly as possible because of the highly sensitive nature of the matter and because of the media interest it's generated. The filed motion from Jay-Z's lawyer Alex Spiro also says, for the avoidance of doubt, Mr. Carter is entirely innocent. This is a shakedown. He is not mentioned, referenced, or implicated in any way in the criminal investigation of Mr. Combs. He is neither a target nor a person of interest in that investigation. Cheyenne, I'll start with you. Sort of where were you and how did you react when you heard the new allegations?
I was actually coming out of a theater show, and so my phone just was filled with messages trying to work out what happened, and then Jay-Z's statement dropped, and so it was kind of all hands on deck on a Sunday night, which has been kind of the case for some of these updated filings. The news breaks at night, and then the next morning it's just unfolding as things continue.
I was in the bed eating chicken wings, and they were delicious, and all of a sudden my phone just started text messages and messages from TikTok, and so I started doing my own research, and I had grease all over my fingers typing on the iPad, and I was just like, well, here we go. It's about to blow up.
I mean, this is kind of what people have been waiting for. When Tony Busby came out at the beginning of October and he promised to name other people co-conspirators, the facilitators of foul play, he called them. Was that kind of what you were seeing online, just comments of, oh, okay, it's beginning?
I think, since Diddy was arrested and the idea of his parties, people have been clamoring for additional names, other celebrities to now be pulled into that. And Jay-Z is one of the biggest celebrities so far that's pulled into it. So yeah, people were kind of waiting for a moment like this.
And if you listen to his lawyers, some of the things that they said that were pretty interesting is he's not a target, he's not a probe or things of this at the criminal investigation, because if he was a target, he would have received a target letter from the federal authorities saying, you come and sit down and talk to us. So his lawyer said, without saying, the federal government on the RICO allegations have never talked to Jay-Z. That's basically him saying, I already know nobody's looking at me.
So here we are, present day. And Diddy? He's allegedly ready to light the whole empire on fire. And guess who's standing in the middle of that potential explosion? Jay-Z. Because let's be honest, Jay has a pattern. You help him build the castle, he locks you out once the crown's on his head. From Beanie to Dame to a long list of others who helped build his name, Jay has this history of going ghost the second things get messy. But this time, this isn't just a rap feud. This isn't old label drama. This is federal. And with Diddy reportedly preparing to drop names, this pattern of strategic silence might finally catch up to Jay in the worst way. Think about it. Jay's image has been crafted down to the millimeter. He's the mogul, the visionary, the unbothered boss in the tailored suit. But underneath all that polish, there might be skeletons. Skeletons that people like Beanie Sigel have been trying to warn us about for years. And if Diddy really starts talking, that image could unravel overnight. Because here's what people are starting to realize. Jay's been playing the long game. Moves that looked like boss decisions back then feel calculated, cold, and manipulative. Beanie once said Jay purposely dropped his albums at the same time just to suffocate his momentum. That's not some coincidence, that's strategic sabotage. And now in 2025, with federal prosecutors breathing down Diddy's neck, it's becoming harder and harder to ignore. Jay-Z might be next. If Diddy really flips, and if those receipts are real, Jay's carefully curated empire might just come crumbling down. All that billionaire branding, the private jets, the champagne, the family man aesthetic, gone. Because you can only bury so much before it starts digging you up. And fans? Oh, they're starting to put the puzzle together. They're pulling clips, old interviews, bars, lawsuits. Connect the dot conspiracy threads are everywhere. And the thing is, they're not looking so far-fetched anymore. What if Beanie was telling the truth this whole time? What if Dame was never bitter, just bold enough to speak what everyone else was too scared to say? What if Jay's silence wasn't just strategy, but protection? Because when it comes to Diddy and the deep, dark web of the music industry, we already know there are no innocent players. The question is, who gets exposed next? Jay's been cutting people off for decades, burning bridges like it's part of his business plan. But this time, if Diddy talks, Jay might not get a chance to rebuild.